Two martial arts legends standing face to face in what would become one of the most talked about confrontations in combat sports history. The tension was so thick you could cut it with a katana blade. When news broke that Jon Foo and Bolo Yeung would finally settle their rivalry in the ring, the martial arts community went absolutely wild. This wasn't just another fight. This was the collision of two completely different fighting philosophies, two contrasting styles that had been brewing for years. The backstory: both men had carved their names into martial arts legend through different paths. Foo, the lightning-fast Taekwondo and wushu champion, known for his work in Tekken and Rise as the man with the iron fists, versus Yeung, the methodical powerhouse who terrorized audiences alongside Bruce Lee and Jean-Claude Van Damme. Their mutual respect had always been tinged with the question: who would win in a real fight? Foo entered the arena like a predator stalking prey. His reputation preceded him. This was a man who could throw 6 kicks in the time most fighters threw 2. Standing 5'10" with the lean, muscular build of a classical martial artist, Foo represented speed incarnate. His strengths were absolutely terrifying to opponents. Foo's leg speed was legendary. Witnesses described his combinations as invisible until they landed. His footwork was poetry in motion, allowing him to slip in and out of range like a phantom. The man had reflexes that seemed almost supernatural, honed through years of competitive wushu and taekwondo, where split-second timing meant everything. But here's where it gets interesting. Foo's greatest strength was also his potential weakness. His style relied heavily on distance management and precise timing. He was a surgical striker, preferring to pick apart opponents with calculated attacks rather than engage in prolonged exchanges. This approach had served him well in tournaments and film work, but against a pressure fighter, it could become problematic. Foo's background in forms and choreographed combat meant he was used to fighting with specific patterns. Real combat, even in a controlled environment, demanded different skills. His conditioning, while excellent for explosive bursts, hadn't been tested in grinding extended battles against someone built like a tank. When Yeung stepped into the arena, you could feel the atmosphere shift. This wasn't just another fighter. This was a man who'd built his reputation on being absolutely unstoppable once he got started. His 5'6" frame carried the kind of functional muscle that came from decades of serious training, not just show. Yeung brought something Foo had rarely faced: relentless pressure combined with devastating power. His bodybuilding and traditional kung fu background gave him incredible core strength. Those arms were like steel cables wrapped in human skin. His film records spoke volumes, memorable performances as intimidating villains who simply overwhelmed opponents through sheer determination and brute force. The man's conditioning was legendary. Stories circulated about his training regimen: hours of iron body conditioning, thousands of repetitions, the kind of dedication that bordered on obsession. Yeung could absorb punishment that would drop normal fighters and keep coming forward, something that gave him a massive advantage in longer fights. His mental game was equally impressive. Yeung had that rare ability to absorb punishment and keep pressing forward. He'd been in intense film fight scenes for decades, but never lost that intimidating presence. This psychological warfare often broke opponents before the physical battle did. But Yeung had his vulnerabilities too. His aggressive forward pressure style sometimes left him open to counterattacks. Against faster opponents, his bulldozer approach could become predictable. His power shots, while devastating, required commitment, and commitment creates windows of opportunity for the right opponent. When the bell rang, Foo immediately established his rhythm. His news anchor's reaction is a mixture of breaking and important news. When the bell rang, Foo immediately established his rhythm. His leg kicks flicked out like a snake's tongue, testing distance and timing. Yeung, true to form, began his methodical advance, cutting off angles and reducing Foo's maneuvering space. The first significant exchange came 90 seconds in. Foo landed a picture-perfect spinning heel kick that snapped Yeung's head back, drawing gasps from the crowd. The audience erupted. This was the Foo they'd come to see. But Yeung's response was immediate and brutal. A body shot that buckled Foo's midsection, followed by a right hook that grazed Foo's jaw as he pulled back. This pattern continued through the early rounds. Foo would score with his lightning-fast kick combinations, but Yeung kept coming forward, absorbing punishment and dishing out his own brand of systematic destruction. By the fourth round, something shifted. Foo's movement, while still impressive, had lost that effortless quality. Those early body shots from Yeung were accumulating damage, making Foo's breathing labored. Meanwhile, Yeung looked like he was just getting warmed up. The decisive moment came in round 5. Foo threw one of his signature combination attacks, a high kick, low kick, spinning back kick sequence that had dropped numerous sparring partners. But this time, Yeung was ready. He absorbed the high kick on his shoulder, stepped through the low kick, and caught the spinning back kick on his forearm. Suddenly, Foo found himself in Yeung's world, close range where power trumped speed.
Yeung unleashed a devastating uppercut that lifted Foo off of his feet, followed by a knee strike that sent Foo stumbling backward. For the first time in the fight, Foo looked genuinely hurt. What happened next revealed the true character of both fighters. Foo, despite being hurt, showed incredible heart. He used his superior mobility to create distance, buying time to recover. His corner worked frantically between rounds, trying to restore his wind and prepare him for what everyone knew was coming. Yeung, sensing victory, turned up the pressure. His punches became more frequent and more powerful. He was systematically breaking down Foo's defenses, round by round, technique by technique. The 8th round was pure warfare. Foo, knowing he was behind on points, threw caution to the wind. His kick combinations came in rapid-fire succession, each one a potential fight-ender. But Yeung weathered the storm like a mountain enduring a hurricane. He absorbed what he couldn't avoid, redirected what he could, and kept pressing forward. When the final bell rang, both fighters embraced with genuine respect. They'd pushed each other to limits neither had experienced before. Foo had shown that his speed and technique were every bit as dangerous as advertised. Yeung had proven that his reputation for relentless pressure and conditioning was well-deserved. But in the end, Bolo Yeung won by unanimous decision. The judges scored the fight based on effective aggression, ring control, and cumulative damage, all areas where Yeung had gradually built advantages throughout the contest. Yeung won because he imposed his will on the fight. While Foo had moments of brilliance, Yeung controlled the overall pace and direction of the battle. His pressure forced Foo to fight Yeung's fight rather than his own. The body shots that seemed minor in early rounds became fight-changing factors as the contest progressed. Most importantly, Yeung's conditioning allowed him to maintain his intensity while Foo's speed and movement deteriorated. In martial arts, as in life, sometimes the tortoise really does beat the hare, not through any single moment of brilliance, but through relentless, methodical excellence. This fight became legendary not because it was one-sided, but because it showcased two different paths to martial arts mastery. Foo proved that speed and technique could trouble even the most determined opponent. Yeung proved that pressure, conditioning, and an unbreakable will could overcome superior speed and skill. Both men left the arena as legends, but only one left as victor.